So what would you say is the predominant skill that you would apply if you've summoned energy that you are blocking? What tool is most accessible that you would apply right now when you feel negative emotions, so you realize that you've summoned energy that you're blocking? What is the most viable, obvious, easiest to apply tool that you could offer right here, right now? What is it?
Well, I have to say for myself.
What is it? Go general.
Go general. That's a
meditation.
New thing.
Meditation is the goingest, generalist thing that you can do.
And that's what has been working for me. I've been meditating
but
daily.
You can't meditate while you're driving, and you shouldn't meditate while you're walking down the street, and it's not nice to meditate when you're in conversation with somebody. In other words, but you could go general.
But I can access my being, and that's what I find my place of peace.
But the thing is, access my being makes it sound like I have to go get it, and it's already there. So you're not going and getting it, you're letting it flow. So how could you let it flow? In other words, let go of the stranglehold. Right. So what do? Well, relax a little bit. You moved your body a little bit. You feel some motion a little bit. You move your toes a little bit. Move your hips a little bit. In other words, do something different than you're doing. Loosen up. That's the idea of loosen up. Loosen up. You're wanting to let it flow. Be easier. Be softer. Be quieter. Be slower, be smoother, be soother. In other words, isn't it a simple thing? If you're yelling at your kids, what could you do in that moment to be more general? They deserve it, but you're yelling at them. What could you do to go more general? Be quieter, or stop talking altogether. In other words, there's something to do. There's something to do every single time. There's never a moment that you can't go more general.
Take some practice, especially with the kid thing, because I have a 3-year-old, and we start screaming. I cannot, of course, reason. Because
so are you saying that in the middle of it, when it's happening, when there's already another momentum going, that it's hard for you to change that momentum? Oh. So what about you getting momentum going first?
For myself.
What about you going to bed, counting your blessings, appreciating something, going to sleep, waking up, finding something to appreciate, maybe doing some meditation, getting tuned in, tapped in, turned on, and then? What about you pre-paving in advance, getting your momentum going, getting your light shining? Have you ever tried to light a fire in the rain? It's hard. But if there's a good fire going, it takes really big time rain to put it out. Momentum. So if you care about your life or about how you're impacting others, then you want to get your momentum going when it's easiest. Don't do your thinking in the middle of a problem. Do your praying from appreciation, not from need. Do your thinking from acknowledging the value, not from finding the problem. In other words, perpetuate the beneficial things that you want to perpetuate by looking at them, by getting on the website for healthy animals, by sending pictures through Facebook and email of beautiful things, of making your scrapbooks and your creation boxes of the things that you desire that feel good when you look at them, by listening to the things that feel good when you hear them and speaking the things that feel good when you say them. Get your momentum going, because you had it going when you were born, and you lost it a little bit here along the way, but you parlayed it into greater and greater movement by asking for more and more and more. You are all standing in a place of much greater capacity for bliss and allowing this energy to flow than you were the day you were born, even though you were pure in your vibration the day you were born. Because life has caused you to ask, it's caused you to summon energy that now you want to allow to flow, you see. And you have the ability to do it. You have the tools. You know what to do. You know how to go general. You know how to make a list of positive aspects. You know how to back off. You know how to step out of an argument because it's just going to get worse. You know how to change the thought in the early subtle stages before it burns a hole in your clothing. You know how. You know what to do. It's just a matter of applying it, you see.
Yes.
Do you believe that you were source energy before you came into this body? Do you accept that you are an extension of it now? Do you think source revels in everything that you live now? Do you think source is involved in what you are doing now? Do you think the progress that you make in terms of expansion of beauty or improvement that makes you feel happy, do you think source is interested in that? Do you think that there's ever a moment in your life experience that source is not intimately intertwined with you? Do you? Sometimes you do when you're feeling negative emotion. But it's not because source isn't there for you. It's because you're not there for you. Source isn't missing. You're just on a different wavelength, you see. And now you know what to do. This has been the most interesting day that we've experienced for these reasons. You're intense, which means you have strong wanting. You're patient, which means you're willing to listen to the long version. You're intuitive, which is what brought you to this gathering today. You're aware. That's why you felt energy moving through you in stronger ways. You're queued up for self-realization that when others watch it happen will be pleasing to you, maybe not to them, but will be pleasing to you for this reason. We've been talking about energy. We've been talking about source. We've been talking about God. We've been talking about emotions. We've been talking about energy. We've been talking about flow. We've been talking about stifling and blocking. We've been talking about flow. But now we want to talk about cars. We want to talk about houses. We want to talk about lovers. We want to talk about mathematical equations. We want to talk about science. We want to talk about invention. We want to talk about creation. We want to talk about musical projects. We want to talk about books that you are writing. We want to talk about children that you are playing with and that you are raising. We want to talk about relationships that you are forming. We want to talk about the beautiful things in the world that you are attracting to you. We want to talk about the things of this earth that you are focused upon. And we want you to find a way of integrating this vibrational, law-based, universal knowledge, of integrating it into the details of the things that are important to you. We want to talk about your influence in your team winning. We want to talk about your reveling in the choir that the kids at your school are singing. We want to talk about the joyful things that your world is about. We don't want to distract you from the details of this physical life. We don't want to distract you from the food that you are eating or from your bodies that you are molding into the look and feel that you want. We don't want to distract you from anything that is of a physical nature. We just want you to look at the things that you are desiring and that are around you that are of a physical nature through the eyes of vibration, through the eyes of emotion, through the eyes of empowerment, from the eyes of assistance. We want you to allow yourself to integrate the broader perspective of source into the details of your life. We want to say to you that when you are involved in the details of your life, and this is what you're bringing to this conversation, yes. When you are involved in the details of your life, and you are not conscious in the moment of your alignment, that's where overwhelmment comes from. When you are involved in the details of your life and you are in conscious concert with alignment, that's when your ecstasy comes. That's when your passion comes. That's when your thrill comes. That's when those are those high points that you keep wanting to bounce to another and to another and to another. In other words, there is no aspect of your life that will not be immediately enhanced by your conscious awareness of these things that we've talked about here today. So yes, you are physical and you are beautiful. And your homes are magnificent and becoming more so. And your inventions are becoming more, and your life is becoming more delicious. And your ability to interact and interface with one another is becoming smoother and more as you want it to be every single day. But if you extract from the equation of the life that you're wanting to live the vibrational basis of it, then you have no power or control. And when you reinsert it into the conversation, and you are mindful of the way you feel, and you are directing your thoughts energetically, not just subject by subject, but feeling by feeling, now you've got control of your life experience. And you will shine a light all around you that others will flock to, asking you continually, what is it that you know that I don't know? And your answer will be general. You will say, I've discovered that life is supposed to be fun, and that it can be if I will allow it. I've discovered that all people are good, and the best of them will come to me if I will allow it. I've discovered that there's nothing that is big enough that deserves my attention at pushing against, and that every time I let something be big enough that I push against, I slow myself down, I shoot myself in the foot, I diminish my joy, and I waste my moment in time. And if they ask further, if they say, well, how is it that you know these things? Say to them, it came natural to me. Once I got a glimpse of it, I remembered that I knew it when I was born. It's a dream that I believe that I knew. I think it is the reason that I came forth. I do not believe that I came forth to struggle or to suffer. I believe that I came forth to revel in the living of life. I believe that I've been given the free will to make my choices about life. I believe that I'm backed up by a source so powerful and so loving that I cannot even find the words to describe it. And I believe that the presence of that is with me in every moment that I allow it. And somehow, I keep figuring out how to allow it a little now, and how to allow it a little now, and how to allow it a little now. And if they're still listening, and some of them will be, they may say, and how is it that you've discovered? What is it that you do? How do you allow this thing that feels so good to you? How do you allow it when your children are fighting or when someone is suffering? How do you allow it then? And you say, I can't allow it then. My attention to that deprives me of my ability to allow it. So I had to learn how to focus. And I practiced by looking at the best of life until I practiced the vibration of that. And then their logic will bring them to this. They will say, well, how is it that you dare to turn your eyes away from those who need you most? And then you give them the answer that they all are looking for, but that few are ready to hear right here and now in the midst of their trouble. You say, I turned the other cheek, because in turning it away from what troubles me, in turning it away from the problem, I turn it toward the solution. I've tuned myself to the solutions of life. I've tuned myself to the frequency that provides me with the solutions. So while I welcome problems because solutions are so fun to find, I stopped wallowing in the problem. We have enjoyed this interaction more than these words can explain to you. But we've been zapping you with the sonar of a dolphin all day today. It is our knowing that you have moved to a different vibrational place than you have been before. We want to say to you that we make too much of all of this, that if you would just find a reason to be playful and play. We encourage you, get together with your funnest of friends and spend time with them. We encourage you, go to your favorite places and focus upon them. We encourage you, get out the music that sounds the best to you and play it frequently. We encourage you, do those things that feel the best. Let those be the priority that are on your to-do today list. Put the things that don't feel good on someone else's list. Put the things that don't feel good on the list that says, maybe someday, but not today. Put them on the list that says, maybe someone else is ready to do this, but I have moved beyond it. I am a seeker of joy. Today, no matter where I go, No matter what I'm doing and no matter who I'm doing it with, it is my dominant intent to look for what I'm wanting to find, to look for those things that feel the best.